Alrighty, everybody, how are we doing? Thank you for waiting. Hello, everybody. I have to get my... Sorry, my desk is a mess right now because I've been editing for the last 2 days. And I have my Godzilla magic cards right here on my desk. Because I opened them, I ordered them, opened them, and then tossed them aside because I was in the middle of editing. So they're just chilling here. So how's everybody doing? Renaru doing pretty good. How am I? I'm doing okay. I'm dealing with a little bit of depression and anxiety, but that happens to everybody, I think. Ever record, did I get a haircut? Let me make sure. There shouldn't be an echo. No echo on my end. Oh, Trans Emerson, I'm sorry you got fired. And I definitely know what that's like. Dark Knight, thank you for gifting a sub to Christina Amazon. And Crispy Fried, thank you for resubscribing for 5 months. Goodness gracious, has it already been that long? Oh, thank you for the rogue sticker. Gong or Codzilla? I would say Codzilla probably. Mr. Oakby, thank you for 1,000 bits. Goodness gracious. Did you hear about Lieutenant Governor of Texas Dan? I mean, I've heard of Dan Patrick. What happens with Dan Patrick? Let us go to the internet machine. Juliana, thank you for gifting a tier 1 sub to Trans Emerson. Yeah, what happened? Okay, Kudaloroka, you got the goods. Yes, you can post a Twitter link. I can't go on my own Twitter. Like, I can't browse the timeline on here because I have too many friends who post nudes and sexy stuff, but, yeah. Yo, what? There's a Cowboy Bebop Magic the Gathering collab? Okay, hold up, okay. This is very important to me. Do they have variants based on the TV show? Not because I like the show, but because that means I would probably be able to get a Mason Alexander Park card, and I would kill for that. Why is not working? Alright, I guess we're going with pink lighting today, because my thing is not working. Oh, if officials lock up 15% of the population, there won't be crime. I'm sure. Jen Scarlett, thank you. I have my hair in a little bun today. Lane, I will check out that secret layer. That is very good. Aw, Lightning Brightling, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yeah, Dan Patrick has a very punchable face. If you lock up the 15%, we don't have any crime. That's how it's gonna work. Yeah, for sure. Good God. Also, love this video platform that doesn't have any closed captions because I don't want to get on, I want to get my headphones on just to... Whatever. Yeah, sorry everybody. I've been in just a weird funk all day, and it's probably partially because of the big video for everybody who knows, especially patrons. You guys have probably already seen the first 5 minutes, but the video on the Satanic Temple I've been working on is like, it's one thing to do a lot of research, but it's another to actually sit down and compile and edit together and exhaustively have to go find and source everything. And it's just very deeply, darkly depressing, and I am incredibly anxious because I might have to turn tonight's stream into a stream highlights, because after CPAC my views have just cratered because I haven't put out another big video, just stream highlights, which is like fair. I meant to have the Satanic video done like at the beginning of the month, but that's just not the way it's happened. So I am just... Oh, that is an alarm. Yeah. When it comes out, please go and make sure you watch it and are there for the premiere and support it. I'm hoping it'll be either Tuesday or Wednesday of next week, but we will see. Yeah, Jonathan, I guess I haven't been on stream since I got my haircut. But my partner cut it, but it's longer. I just have it up in a bun in the back. Kind of see. Hey, dog. What? That is your shoe. I gave you. There's your bone. What, you're too good for a bone now? That's your marrow bone. You love those. I don't understand this dog sometimes. Dustin the Dam, thank you for 200 bits. Hey there, has anyone seen that Oklahoma is warning a pro wrestling organization about letting a transgender woman wrestle other women? Isn't that ridiculous? Let me see that. Oklahoma, that seems like it would. Oklahoma seems like the place for that shit. Lately, AEW. Oklahoma warns AEW's Nyla Rose, trans wrestler, against... Jesus Christ. Oklahoma officials. Oh, fuck off, Washington Post. God, I hate that shit. Yeah, so I guess let's start with this, because this seems like a pretty okay, not terrible. Also, Juliana, thank you for gifting a sub to Dustin the Damned. Ugh. I'm just getting all congested now, too. The owner of All Elite Wrestling says he's disappointed in the Oklahoma State Athletic Commission after the OSAC reprimanded the company for featuring transgender wrestler Nyla Rose in a match against a cisgender woman. Like, party of small government. Party of government shouldn't overreach into the affairs of private citizens and companies. Right? Yeah, exactly. Zoller Hust. We don't want the government involved with businesses unless they're forcing transphobic legislation or giving out tax breaks, basically. On December 20th, 2023, Rose, the first out trans woman to be hired by a major U.S. wrestling promotion and the second ever AEW Women's Champion, appeared on a show in Oklahoma City under AEW's Ring of Honor subsidiary brand. Sorry, I'm moving my mic. Facing off against competitor Alejandra the Lion. As fans are well aware, professional wrestling matches are predetermined and, while violent, involve realistic stage combat rather than attempts to permanently injure one's opponent. But wrestling is still legally a, quote, professional combative sports event. So Oklahoma athletic regulators swiftly stepped in to object to the match, based solely on the fact that Rose is trans and Alejandra is not. So, basically what's happening here is Oklahoma officials think wrestling is real. These adults think it's like, that's basically what they think. Could I boost my volume, please? Yes, I will boost it a little bit just for you. Is that better? Or is that better? I guess also speaking a little bit more clearly would help. Wrestling news site Real Wrasslin' obtained a copy of this week's... They do have medical staff at wrestling show. Much better volume. Okay. Thank you, Cat Guy. Which repeatedly refers to Rose as male. That's fucked up. And was initially issued a few weeks following Rose and Alejandra's match, as the Oklahoman confirmed. The commission's rules prohibit athletic competitions, quote, between males and females, as defined solely by their chromosomes, a rule which is printed in the state's official pro wrestling license application. OSAC officials claim that Rose violated the law by marking female on her application, issuing a formal warning to AEW with a promise of punitive action should the company run more matches between trans and cis wrestlers in Oklahoma going forward. Alright, then Oklahoma isn't getting, like... The easy solution here is that, okay, we're going to support our wrestlers. Oklahoma isn't going to get the business anymore. So, moving that shit out of state, I guess. Under Oklahoma law, violating an OSAC statute can result in a $1,000 fine or 30 days in jail for the first infraction, with additional infractions carrying penalties of up to $5,000 or 1 year in prison. Oklahoma's chromosomal regulations have been in place since 2012. Jesus Christ, Oklahoma is such a fucked up place. Rose regularly works with cis women in her matches, such as her longtime in-ring rival Hikaru Shida. Though her native beast character references Rose's Oneida heritage, AEW has not referenced her trans identity in its storylines. Based. During a media call on Wednesday in advance of AEW's Dynasty pay-per-view event, co-owner and president Tony Khan expressed shock at OSAC's warning and said he fully supports Rose and other trans athletes. Based. This is why we support AEW in this house and not WWE. I was really surprised by this and of course was disappointed by the commission's position and by that warning. I don't think we did anything wrong. Blah, 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 blah. Rose, who often plays a heel character, also expressed mock annoyance that OSAC made her a babyface or hero. But she then broke character momentarily to thank fans for an outpouring of support on social media, joking that she was probably dehydrated from all the happy crying. Some trans performers are being held back by the law because independent wrestling promotions, where LGBTQ+ wrestlers are often more prominent than in larger companies like AEW and WWE, may not have the resources to risk OSAC fines or jail time. Quote, I had one trans wrestler ask me, where do you see me on the show card? Where do I fall in? I can't give them a straight answer because I don't know what's going to happen with all this nonsense, Bulmer recalled. Since assuming office in 2019, Governor Stitt? Are you kidding? What is he, fucking planning to take over the local rec center? Like, are all of his plans revolving around how to foil the plans of the neighborhood children? God, Stitt. Conservatives continue to prove nominative determinism might have something to it. Overseeing a major push to restrict trans rights in Oklahoma, especially those of trans youth and athletes. Shocker. In 2022, Stitt signed a law that banned trans students from participating in K-12 or collegiate sports leagues that do not correspond to their assigned sex at birth. Later that year, Stitt also signed a law that banned public hospitals from providing gender-affirming medical care to anyone under 18. In January of this year, Oklahoma Superintendent for Public Instruction Ryan Walters appointed Libs of TikTok founder Chaya Reichik to a committee advising school libraries, sparking backlash from parents and LGBTQ+ youth alike. Rose, who has established herself as a queer wrestling icon, comic book writer, and annihilator of haters, last performed on the March 27 episode of Ring of Honor's weekly streaming show Honor Club in Quebec City. She is currently scheduled to appear as a guest host on the PPV.com stream of AEW's Dynasty event on Sunday, April 21st. Quote, I'm glad Nyla is going to be hosting that, Khan told reporters on Wednesday. That's something that's been in the works for a while. I think the world of Nyla, and that's how I feel about it. God damn. Ugh. Why am I so stuffy all of a sudden? Fuck. Foxbat V subscribed for 4 months. Nyla is the best I ever action figure. That's cool. I didn't know they... Well, of course they do. They make action figures of everything in wrestling. Juliana, thank you very much for gifting a tier 1 sub to Dustin the Damned. Mr. Oakby, there have been cis male versus cis female wrestling matches since the WWF Attitude Era in the 90s. Those conservative idiots are concerned about nothing worthwhile and they missed the boat to complain. Oh yeah, like that doesn't surprise me. I had a highlighted message a while back, but I have shit time. Let me see if it popped up on my mini feed. I don't think it did. Yeah, it is not showing up for me. I'm sorry. All right, let's go. I want to talk about Israel real quick, because the Israel-Iran thing is going to be... I want to keep everybody abreast of the situation and just updated on what's happening. Because I think stuff like this... I don't want to become... I'm not going to become like Hassan or somebody who is talking about this shit every day. Because, like, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I almost didn't stream today because I've just been in such a bad place mental health wise. All right, reducing music. And some of this shit is so hard, but I need to. I do this for a job, so I need to stream. But that's to say that I just don't have the mental bandwidth to constantly stay up on all this. And I don't think there's oh yeah, Renner, I saw that. I don't think there's a I don't think there's a need to constantly stay up on everything happening in the world all the time. However, this particular development, literally everybody is on pins and needles when it comes to Iran and Israel right now. And as of, I believe it was yesterday, I'll feel, Trans Emerson, thank you. I'll feel better when this fucking video is out and my views, the channel views are back up. Like, if you guys really want to help out, go watch some of my older videos. Like, go binge some older stuff I've done, because that is the thing that is depressing me the most, is that I still have, like, a couple days, and then I have almost nothing left in the month, and, like, my revenue, ad revenue, is, like, so fucked right now. It's fine. 40 minutes ago, Iranian president makes no mention of Israeli strike while lauding its previous weekend attack. Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi made no mention of Israel's Friday strike on Iran while publicly lauding the unprecedented Iranian military operation last weekend targeting the Israeli-occupied territories. Iran's April 13th retaliatory strikes, part of an operation named True Promise, were a display of Iran's military strength and a necessary act against what Raisi called the illegal regime, he said Friday. Raisi described the strikes as a punitive reprisal by the Iranian armed forces aimed at demonstrating Iran's power and the resolve of its people. Remember, the April 1st strikes on Iran's embassy compound in Damascus demolished a building and left several dead, including 2 high-ranking generals. I don't know why they don't say who was behind the strikes. Like, this is a really great example of passive voice from the media, which happens a fucking lot when it comes to Israel. It's like, Israel was behind those strikes. Israel and the United States have said that Iran's lob of some 300 missiles had very little material impact and caused only 1 injury. And updated Monday, April 1st, Iran accuses Israel of killing Iranian military commanders and others in airstrike and consulate in Syria. The country's consulate building in Damascus, Syria, according to Iranian officials and state-affiliated media, which blamed Israel for the attack. And here's the IDF running cover for that. According to our intelligence, this is no consulate and this is no embassy. I repeat, this is no consulate and this is no embassy. This is a military building of Quds forces disguised as a civilian building in Damascus. IDF spokesperson Rear Admiral Daniel Hagari told CNN's Jim Squito. CNN cannot verify the claim. Great. And this was the point at which Iran's foreign ministry spokesman Nasser Kanani warned of possible, quote, reciprocal measures following the incident. Quote, Iran preserves the right to take reciprocal measures and will decide the type of response and punishment against the aggressor, Kanani said, according to IRGC-affiliated Fars News. Yeah, which, like, you in a just world, or in a perfect world, you'd love to look at something somebody says on TV and go like, yeah, that's trustworthy. But I feel like most everybody knows that's not the case, and especially with the IDF right now. Like, they literally seem to just be making it up on the fly. This is from 44 minutes ago. At least 3 members of the Iranian-backed Popular Mobilization Units, also called the PMF, were wounded following 5 explosions at a military base south of Baghdad. Looks like Israel has no involvement in the reports of explosions in Iraq on Friday evening, an Israeli official told CNN. See, again, like, it could be any number of things, and I am not in any position to speculate here. Almost 24 hours after the strikes, the Biden administration has been tight-lipped following the Israeli strikes in Iran. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin spoke with his Israeli counterpart. Tay, what's up with the purple crying faces? That's a lot in the chat. Huh. Mobius, on a scale of 1 to fucked, how fucked are things? I want to say they're at like an 8, but getting more fucked all the time. Lane Kaplan, Israeli government is so full of lies and disingenuousness, I literally do not trust a word they say, and the J-Post is full of drag. Yeah, like, that's the thing, is that I don't trust. I don't trust any government. Like, there's nothing that, like, Israel or Hamas or Russia or Ukraine can put out that I will take at face value, unfortunately. But, like, Israel continues to be beyond shady lately. Oh my goodness, Verdant and Clips, thank you very much for gifting tier 1 subs to Dharma Bub, Homo Dante. Oh shit, okay, let me look through this really quick. Dharma Bum, Hobo Dante, Tech Tink, Zettel, Ariel Haymarket, Jibek, Dupe Face, Chum Socket, Jolie Chlobe, Lord Fortus, Shadow Talon, Armor Kila, Elogato, Dot Cubus, Gunplay Aboid, holy shit, Verdant Eclipse, Undead Willow, Knife Spark, Pendragon, Muppet VT, and Actual Jake. Thank you so much. Holy crap. And Jackie Sins, thank you very, very much for the $100 donation. That really does help a lot right now. I'll be sure to watch and rewatch some of your older videos, but I'll try to support you with donations as well. Thank you, guys. You should repeat that on Twitch. I'm very excited for the Satanic Temple video. I joined TST a few years back because even though I'm an atheist, I still want to have a religious community be a part of my experience in my Satanic Temple congregation has been enjoyable, but if it turns out that there's some sketchy shit going on, I want to know about it so I can use the knowledge to make the best decision for myself, even if that decision ends up being me leaving the Satanic Temple. Yeah, yeah, I hope everybody looks forward to it, because there is a non-zero chance I'm opening myself up. Like here's the worst case. I was talking to my partner about this. The worst case scenario for this video is that it comes out and it doesn't, like, I'm always worried with these bigger videos, because like my video on anti-Semitism, for the work I put into it versus what it did in views, super disappointing. Super disappointing. I love that video. I put everything into it. So, like, there are things that I can generally depend on. Critiquing conservative culture usually does pretty good for me. My infiltration videos usually do pretty good. Gaming, no. But I have no idea where something like this falls, because I don't know yet what part of my audience it appeals to. So I am, well, Lane Kaplan, I also changed the title of that video. And yeah, I'll take that on the nose. So like the worst possible option. Oh, thank you, Leofy. Like the worst possible outcome of this video is that I go through all this work. I go through like over a month of work and it fails, but I still get sued by the Satanic Temple, which is like, that's been a huge part of my anxiety, is that there is a non-zero chance that that will happen. I would say it's considerably more than zero. Literally every source, multiple sources I've spoken to, multiple other people who have been sued by the temple have said, like, dog, be like, make sure you have an escape plan. Not like a physical escape plan, like not like in physical danger, but like make sure you have a way to cover your tracks for harassment and lawyer up if need be. So I'll be right back. I'm gonna go take care of something and then we will continue on. What were we talking about? They're into suing people? Yes, they are super duper into suing people. And they use it as a cudgel primarily to, because like a lot of the people that they threaten to sue are obviously not able to, like, sue back. They're usually just regular people who are speaking out about things that the temple have done. and they will threaten to sue them for defamation, leading to those people who usually don't have resources for legality or anything like that into recanting, publicly apologizing, that kind of stuff. Yeah. Yes, yeah, oh boy, they love slap lawsuits. I mean, like, if it is actual slander or libel, like if I am saying the head of the Satanic Temple has murdered children, and I am then saying that is a fact, that is not disputable, that's slander because that's false. Like that's like just not true, not based in any fact or reality. The problem is that if I were to say, for example, the founders of the Satanic Temple have long ties to outright violent neo-Nazi groups, that one of the founders of the Satanic Temple, and this is true, one of the founders of the Satanic Temple tried to affix himself as the head of a cargo cult in the Pacific Islands for a documentary. He tried to make himself the messianic figurehead of a cargo cult. Now, they might say that's defamatory because it paints them in a bad light. However, it's not false. Like, those things are both very true. And those are just the fresh examples because those are the things that I've been editing lately. And let me fucking tell you, when I say the Satanic Temple video is fucking nuts, that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. I'm not saying like, oh, they're cheating on their taxes or they're running shell corporations. They're doing that too. Or one of them uses the Satanic Temple as his private harem. They're doing that too. Or the fact that the Satanic Temple was very likely started as an elaborate prank for a documentary that just got too big too quick for them to stop, which is also very likely true. Like, all of that stuff is still just the tip of the iceberg for what this thing is. Yeah, like when I say, and I need to point, anybody who's interested in this stuff, you can go check out Queer Satanic. They're a blog, and they have been, literally this video, like they reached out to me to make a video on this, just to get more eyes on this issue. And literally the video wouldn't have happened without them because they have done exhaustive research. And I'm not talking about just looking up like, oh, this person made this old video. I am talking scouring through, like what I did yesterday to find certain audio clips. I was scouring through a 24-hour live stream to find audio clips of, in 2003, the current head of the Satanic Temple dropping hard R N-words and praising fascism. Like, that's the kind of deep, deep history that's hidden here. Yeah, so Queer Satanic, and going through legal documents, I've gone through, oh, fuck, guys, I've gone through so many depositions. I'm so tired of I can't look at them anymore. Someone gifted you a sub. Yes, they did, Hobo Dante. Dave L, I don't have a problem with like polyamory. The way Lucien Greaves seems to do it, and this is by multiple people I've talked to and multiple other sources, he seems to just he seems to have a primary girlfriend, and then he just leads on young, impressionable TST members, some as young as 18 or 19 when he's almost 50, sexting with them and then just blocking them when he's done. Like, he is a, yeah, there's polyamory, and then there's whatever the fuck he's doing. Magna Defender, holy shit, thank you for $10. Hello, DD, have you ever seen Nerdrotic? He's a pop culture critic Discusses woke Hollywood. He has a great podcast voice, but his videos are repetitive brain rot. It's astounding. He has 1 million subs. Yeah, no, he's part of the, isn't he part of the Geeks and Gamers crew? Or maybe, I'm pretty sure I had one of his videos, or he appeared in my Spider-Man video at some point. Spider-Man. Another video that, for the, 4 weeks of work I put into it, did not do good. So if y'all want to help out, go watch the go watch the video on the history of anti-Semitism and the video on Spider-Man, because those are 2 of my favorites. Don't watch them now, watch them after this, and if they got picked up a little bit more. Rusty Hardy, good evening, DD. Any plans to watch Late Night with the Devil? I'm about to bounce and watch it. I want to catch it in theaters. But I do not know. It's not in theaters anymore, I don't think. Not in my theater here. But I do want to watch it. Dark Knight, which Spider-Man? I thought it's about all Spider-Man. It's about. So it was a video inspired by the nerds weirding out about Spider-Man 2 being too woke. And it was just a full examination of how Spider-Man has always been, how Spider-Man and superheroes as a whole have always been very progressive, and then breaking that down to show how people like Synthetic Man and Geeks and Gamers and all these people criticizing it either have vested interests in continuing to make people mad to continue a grift, or, and more likely also, do not understand the things that they claim to love. Because if they did, they would realize that those things are just antithetical to them. So it's kind of a look at nerd culture as a whole, while also being an examination of Spider-Man as a whole. Yeah, Evercore, have I seen the Civil War movie? I did. It's not great. It's just man, what a just fucking nothing film. Yeah, it's just nothing. Trans Emerson, I wouldn't. Here's the weird thing about Civil War is that I wouldn't even necessarily call it bad, because it is very well made. It is on a technical level, it's well shot. It has pretty good performances. The writing's solid for the most part, but it is so afraid of actually being A24 has very intentionally leaned into the controversial aspects, the potentially controversial aspects. Everybody's seen the trailer with Jesse Plemons asking, okay, well, what kind of American are you? The things that people might look at and be like, oh, this is about Trump supporters in Civil War. It's not that at all. It is so toothless in everything. It is one of the most, it's hard to even quantify it because it's just so nothing. All right. Here is what, yeah, HP hovercraft, from what I can tell, it's an attempt at making the idea of a civil war apolitical, which is fundamentally a nonsensical concept. Yeah, here, let me pull up something from Civil War real quick, and I'll do a little review. One star, 2.7. Dystopian film. So, Civil War is, for the most part, Civil War is it's not actually a war film as much as it's a post-apocalyptic film about a world that hasn't actually ended. And that is part of what is so strange about it, is the way it builds a world takes from so much post-apocalyptic fiction, because it's essentially a road trip movie. Like, it's not a war film. It's not like a Saving Private Ryan. You are following photojournalists, or a group of journalists who are traveling to Washington, D.C. to hopefully interview the president, who is besieged by the other side of this conflict, who has holed himself up. And here, there are precisely two times. There are two times in the entire film where it dares to get political. And those are when they're both used during world building, which is very odd, because one of the times is when somebody is talking to another person. It's like, hey, how'd you get your start in photography? And no, I know you got famous in photography from covering the Antifa massacre, which is not clear, and I think it's very purposefully not clear on what the fuck that means. Was it Antifa doing a massacre? Was it Antifa being massacred? Doesn't address it at all. Just spits it out, rolls on. And then later, there's a moment where the interviewer is throwing out mock questions that he would ask the president, and it was stuff like, Mr. President, do you remember, how do you feel about firing on American citizens? Or there was something else that was very obviously pointed at Trump. The problem with that, and that being any kind of character or even a caricature of Trump in the president, is that it's not. He's not depicted as Trumpian at all. He's depicted as much more affluent and much more composed. But when people talk about how apolitical it is, there's the one part that is just hard to chew on. That is, apparently the Western forces that originally broke off are an alignment of California and Florida. Oh, no, California and Texas, and Florida is also there. Florida apparently did its own thing. And already, California and Texas are maybe two of the most politically heated states in America. And if you're thinking, okay, well, maybe they're trying to get at something deeper, what if the gravity of the presidential overreach or whatever happened was so severe that it caused people to put aside these alliances? We don't know that, because none of it is ever even remotely explained. None of what started the conflict is explained. None of the allegiances or battle lines are explained. Which is why when you come across Jesse Plemons' character, yeah, there is a inherent, fear of these soldier type people who apparently, when you come across them, they may or may not have killed a bunch of innocents. And they have stumbled upon this. And yeah, that is a tense situation, but you don't know why it should be intense. Nothing has been done to give background to those characters or the struggle that everybody's fighting for. For example, this is a movie that talks about the president, overreaching and taking military power and basically absconding to Washington, D.C. and holding up in a bunker and protecting himself and firing back at everybody and constantly spewing propaganda and all this stuff. But nothing is ever mentioned about the governors of the states. Nothing is ever mentioned about the senators, the House of Representatives. Because we actually have, I think the problem with Civil War as a movie is that currently in America, we have seen what happens along party lines when a president does overreach their power. When Trump basically kicked off January 6th, the far-right Trump Republicans have spent the last 4 years running interference for him, covering for him, calling it a conspiracy. We know it idealizes the American psyche to a point, while also trying to be like this kind of Mad Maxy hellscape, which I'll get to in a second. But the American political brain in this movie is good guys versus bad guys. And that's the only politics. Nothing is ever mentioned about actual policy. Nothing is ever mentioned about the differences in regions. It is just talked about in these, like it's talked about in the same way world building is done in, like, Star Trek, where they'll talk about, like, you know, oh, in 2135, Boeing became the first ultra mega corporation, like kind of that type of shit, except it's set today. And so because of that, it all just rings super fucking hollow. But then there's the tangible world building of the world that they're going through, that you're following them on, which is unfortunate because the cinematography is really great. They do a good job of putting you into the lens of a photographer, but they try to make it this story. So what Civil War really is, Civil War is the story, it has nothing to do with politics. It is the personal journey of one person taking on somebody else's obsession and falling into darkness. It is the story of this bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, wannabe photojournalist protege to this apparently, like, legendary photojournalist who comes to understand through this war that to be a war photographer, you have to sacrifice a part of yourself. To bring people the story, you have to put aside your impartiality. And as she's learning that, she also learns the very harsh lesson that what does it mean for that impartiality to go too far? And that's kind of how the movie ends. And on its face, that's not a bad message. However, it's one that could have very easily been done and been done better, been done not so distractingly, without this, like, what feels like the cinematic equivalent of clickbait. Like, it feels like it's just begging the question. Like, it's just leading you to go, okay, well, how can this be controversial? Like what? Oh my gosh! Like this is going to be crazy. He's got Alex Garland, like, and you see the trailers, and it's these big action sequences and stuff, and that's not the fucking movie. The movie is a road trip movie, and the last like 20 minutes are a pretty solid action sequence that just kind of feels like Call of Duty. Like, all the critics who were saying, like, oh, you must, like, you got to experience this in theaters. Like, people were acting like it was the Saving Private Ryan beach scene. No, it's like, it is nowhere near that intense. But on the other side of that is Foxbat V, sorry. So it sounds like setting a war movie in the U.S. was just a desperate attempt to make U.S. audiences empathize with the very real nature of how war photography and war journalism becomes a form of conflict tourism. Yeah, I can. Yeah, like that would be a fair, I think, reading of the movie. Because there is even though I think it's very, like, there is a dramatic core there, even though I think it is incredibly sterile. Like, I think it is coming from, like, the Neil Druckmann school. No, not even Neil Druckmann. I think it's very Nolan-esque. And I think that kind of makes it very boring. Like, everybody is so bland and, like, mostly emotionless while they're dealing with, like, their deep shit. And I just think that's fucking boring. But as they're traversing this, war-torn America, the other big problem is that there's no fucking people in the movie. Like, they are going through massive cities that have been, that were conflict zones, and they aren't, like, razed to the ground. They have, like, some buildings are crumbling, there's, like, helicopters and stuff. But they're going through them, and this is where the post-apocalyptic part comes in. They're going through them, and it looks like The Walking Dead. Like, it looks like there's fucking nothing. All the cars are just on the side of the road. There are just, like, and it's just empty, barren of people. The problem is, again, you never hear about, okay, like, what happened to these cities that housed millions and millions of people? We know there are, like, refugee camps, but those are, like, a little bit small when we see them to have millions and millions of people. They don't really talk about it or mention it again. What's more, active conflict zones, and especially conflict zones that are no longer active, people move back into them. Like, if they don't have anywhere else to go, which there would be a large population there who didn't have anywhere else to go. But it just looks like I Am Legend or Terminator or something. The problem with that in post-apocalyptic fiction, the reason why there are less people around is because of an inciting incident. You have, the bombs drop in Fallout, Skynet takes over in Terminator, aliens come down from the sky, like fucking whatever. Zombies kill everybody. There's a reason why there are less people around, and there is no given reason. And so, like, it's this kind of misguided notion of, like, you want to feel like it's kind of creepy or eerie to see these big cities completely devoid of people, but it's not, because you don't know why it should be, and that, I feel like that is just a good I feel like that's a good summation of what Civil War is as a movie. It's like, it is just, it's something that wants to make you feel certain ways throughout, but never gives you a reason why you should. And so it just comes off as this bizarre, like it's by the end of it, it's so hollow. Like you don't feel anything for the characters. And maybe oh my gosh, maybe that's like the big point of it. But like even though, like, no, it's that Meatwad bit from Aqua Teen Hunger Force, where he's like, I get it. It's not making me laugh, but I get it. It's like it's not that smart even to be like a meta commentary on how like war, hollows you out and stuff. It's not that smart because like you kind of see the end coming from a mile away and see what's going to happen. And again, that stuff would have been so much better with maybe a tweak to the writing and a completely different conflict. But what it feels like to me, ultimately, Sean, thank you very much. Just got here. Love your hair. Sorry if the topic is serious right now. No, we're talking about Civil War for now. Thank you, goodness gracious, for the $20. What it feels like to me, though, is, and I can't say this for sure, but it felt like on the last, I want to actually look this up really quick. Civil War. If you remember, I don't know if anybody remembers The Hunt, but The Hunt was a movie 4 years ago, also during an election year, where the controversy around it was essentially saying like, oh, it's like conservatives hunting down liberals and one fights back. And The Hunt was likewise a like pretty toothless movie. I did not care for it. It used these like what essentially the taglines you would see in the no, not The Hunt with Mads Mikkelsen. Very different movie. It used all the taglines you saw in the trailer to basically cause a stir, cause a controversy. And it ended up getting the initial controversy surrounding The Hunt only intensified after conservative outlets caught wind of a specific word in the script. The Hillary Clinton coined deplorables, seemingly used to refer to the poor murdered Americans in the story, which catalyzed a mini wave of anger. And then 4 years before that was the Purge election year, which might be the best of the three, honestly. Another dystopian, horror-ish, action-ish movie. And so, more than anything with Civil War, I would say it falls into this camp of middling actioners that are reaching for controversy to get marketing. Like it is becoming like the Christmas movie of election years, where it's like a bell that's just ringing to cause controversy. Mithril, thank you very much. 10. Nothing interesting to say, but you deserve a dono. Thanks for being a great creator. I appreciate it. Professor Oak, Terra Nova, and Caleb's Revenge, thank you all for following. Yeah, no, Foxbat V, I don't think we should make Civil War movies as the Christmas movies of election years. It is. I don't think it's a good thing. I think it is Hollywood banking on controversy, which is not new by any stretch of the imagination. And that ultimately, I think that is the most I can say about Civil War as a film. I don't think it's a great film. I think it is, unfortunately, like, very well made. It's very pretty to look at. Like, there's some shots in there I'm like, ooh, damn, all right, he kind of popped off here. But so much of it was so, and not even up its own ass. Like, some of Alex Garland's stuff gets a little bit up his own ass, but it was just flavorless. Like, it had no sauce to it in the world building, in the setting. And I think that was because it was afraid of actually, like, being political. Like, I think there is I would hope at some point that there was a much more grounded script, a script that took much more from the actual political conflicts happening and escalating in America right now. Because as the next story we're going to talk about, there's real shit that you can base a conflict off of, if you aren't just after some quick brand controversy, which is exactly what Civil War was doing. Yeah, no, Banana Brains EF, you're absolutely right. The fact that it's generically called Civil War is pretty telling in and of itself. I forgot to mention that is, like, probably the biggest thing, is that going, like, it's such a nothing name. Like, it is not evocative of, like, you hear the name Civil War, it could be a generic Civil War documentary. It could be a movie about the Civil War. It could be about, like, an entirely different country. It could be a space movie. Like, it's so broad, and it conjures nothing. Even if you know the genre. Where it's like Men, there's a horror movie called Men. Okay, that conjures something. That conjures an idea. Ex Machina, kind of sci-fi thriller, conjures an idea. Annihilation, based on a book, so that's a little bit different. You bring that knowledge in, conjures an idea. Civil War does fuck all, does none of that. And yeah, like, it's like, in a way, it is kind of fascinating, like, how much it goes out of its way to say nothing, while also trying to, like, it's a weird experiment in trying to build a world that is kind of believable and feels lived in, while also trying to sidestep anything that would, like, feel like you're trying to say something through that world. Like, it's just, like, imagine if Blade Runner had no commercials on the towers. If it didn't have any ramen carts in the streets. You know, if it was just, like, concrete and smoky alleyways. Like, it's yeah, it's befuddling. It's befuddling. That's the best thing I can say about it. Oh my god, Renaru, there's a horror movie called They Them. They Them is legit dog shit. I've talked about They Them on here, I think. Yeah, They Them is a bad fucking movie. I was actually really excited for They Them. Because I had Kevin Bacon, camp counselor slasher movie, like, with a cast of queer characters. The best thing about They Them is the cast. Like, I think they have a lot of, like, really cool, diverse actors. But man, They Them is one of the most mismanaged attempts at a slasher movie I've seen in years. It is so, like, first off, I'm a firm believer, if you have a slasher, I don't need it to be, like, Terrifier 2 levels of gore. I love Terrifier 2, I have it on Blu-ray, but, like, I don't, that's a bar. That's not what I need for a movie to be, you know, a slasher movie to be fun or satisfying. Like, one of my favorite slashers of all time, the one I show, like, my partners and everything, is Friday the 13th, Part 6, Jason Lives. And it was famously, that is a movie that was edited and cut to shit to get it down from an NC-17 rating, which is laughable now if you've ever seen the original footage they have. But it's not a super ultra violent movie. The kills are satisfying though, and it is a fun movie. Like, that's the important part of a slasher movie. They Them is not fun at all. And then on top of that, the kills are not satisfying or good. And then on top of that, the ending twist is, and I'm just going to spoil They Them for everybody, but the ending twist is basically that the murderer was a former, because it takes place at a conversion camp, essentially. A conversion camp where people start dying. And a conversion camp for queer youth. And essentially, the killer ends up being, at the very end of the movie, somebody who had been sent there as a kid and wanted revenge. And the main character, instead of sympathizing with that, the main character, who was also sent to the conversion camp, gets mad, and I forget how it ends, if she calls the police, or she basically sides with the police against this killer. Like, so it's this kind of just whiffed queer revenge story that is like, oh yeah, actually queer revenge is bad. And I'm not saying that you need to go out and like kill people who run conversion camps. That's not the goal I'm getting at all. But it is so toothless because it basically ends by saying, yeah, even if people are literally torturing kids, like, you should be able to move on and forgive them. Like, that's basically what it's saying. Like, yeah. And yeah, I was just so disgusted by that movie. Yeah, Majestic Spider-Man, the ending was fucking pathetic and cowardly. It was dog shit. Very good, Patrick Dean. They Mascara. Okay, we have covered Civil War. Speaking of political violence, I'm gonna go blow my nose again. And oh wait, maybe I'm clearing up actually. Let me answer a text or two. Okay, I'm gonna watch that really quick. Lane. Let me see if I can. Alright, I have an idea. Give me a second, I'm gonna do that. Before we get into anything, I'm gonna watch a video, because this next part is going to be kind of long. Because not only are we going to look at the person who self-immolated outside of Trump's trial, but we are also going to look at, oh boy, we're also going to look at Fucking his manifesto. Sorry, my brain just stopped in the middle there. But before that happens, Gyro PP, thank you very much. Hi DD, new haircut looks great. Oh, we're not watching the self-immolation thing. We don't need to. Depends on the joke, Sean, but I would generally advise against. What are we? Is it okay to make fun of this? No. We are not making fun of the self-immolation. It is not okay to make fun of suicide or suicide attempt. All right, this is the Cowboy Bebop Magic the Gathering set. Oh, that's cool. I love the Outlaws of Thunder Junction stuff. It has been so, like, it's so cool and stylish, and I love all the mechanics. Oh yeah, no, HP Hovercraft, we're going, like, people have been saying, like, okay, well, was he in favor of Trump? Was he anti-Trump? The dude was in his own plane of existence. Like, there is a, we'll talk about it in a second. I don't want to go on a whole thing. Well, I can't play it with sound right now because I'm assuming it's the Cowboy Bebop theme. I can't play it with sound because I don't have my headphones on, and it'll just play right into the mic, which nobody wants. Why? I am curious, what is it about Cowboy Bebop that has led to not one but two collaborations in the last year? Because Overwatch just got done with them. Which, like, I'm not complaining, it's just very odd. It's like if there were two Bubblegum Crisis crossovers. Like, yo, Raid Shadow Legends is crossing over with Perfect Blue. Like, it's very odd to me. Oh, that's my girl, Vraska. I need to get a Vraska card from the new set. I really want the wanted poster card. Well, that wasn't exactly what I wanted. So is it just going to be, sorry, let me see. I will get, if there's a Vraska playmat, I'll get one. Wait. April 26th through March 31st. After 2021, receive one of 5 postcards using art. Okay, I gotcha. Yeah, I want the E-type for... Oh, those are gorgeous. Holy shit. Oh, okay, is that it? Man! Okay, well, I hope more will come out. Let me actually see. All right, let me look that up one more time. Sleeves and cards. So it's only in Japan? Okay. No, hey, sorry, it shouldn't be frozen.